Ladies and gentlemen of the shadowed assemblies, gather close. In this dim-lit chamber, where the air tastes of recycled ozone and unspoken regrets, tonight I weave for you a tapestry of voids, not the black between stars, but the hollows within the soul, where echoes of what was scream against the unyielding now. This is no fable for the faint. It is a descent into the dark heart of tomorrow, where humanity's spark flickers like a candle in hyperspace's gale. Breathe deep, for we begin in the cradle of our fragile now, on a world you still call home. Tokyo, May 12, 2050. A cityscape of chrome spires clawing at a smog-veiled sky. Cherry blossoms wilt under the indifferent glare of holographic billboards, peddling neural elixirs and eternal youth in pill form. The air hums with the ceaseless drone of maglev trains slicing through rain-slicked streets. Their underbellies, flickering blue from fusion reactors, buried deep in the Earth's wounded crust. It is a time of tentative wonders, quantum nets linking minds across oceans, but still tethered to the meat of our bodies, our prisons of bone and sinew. Here, in a sterile wing of the Okada Neural Institute, named, ironically, for a lineage of dreamers who chased ghosts in silicon, we meet Mr. Hiroshi Okada, 47 years young, though his eyes, shadowed by the faint etchings of chronic migraines, whisper of burdens older than his frame. He is no hero forged in fire, no captain of starhaulers, or decoder of ancient scripts. No, Hiroshi is a mid-level archivist for the Ministry of Cultural Preservation. A man whose days dissolve in digitizing faded scrolls and cross-referencing lost dialects from the pre-unification wars. His life is a quiet erosion, a modest apartment in Shibuya, walls papered with holoprints of Kyoto's autumn leaves, ghosts of a heritage he can no longer afford to visit. Why, then, does he volunteer for the big scan? Brain interface calibration, they call it a rudimentary neural mapping trial, funded by the Imperial Research Collective, to pave the way for full uploads by decade's end. A gift to science. The consent form purrs in kanji as crisp as fresh snow. Your patterns may unlock the mind's vault. Hiroshi signs with a stylus that trembles not from fear, but from the gnawing void of irrelevance. He chuckles bitterly to himself as the texts strap him into the cradle, a sarcophagus of polished alloy, humming with the low throb of cryogenic coolant. Electrodes kiss his temples like cold lovers. IV drips whisper sedatives into his veins. The room smells of antiseptic and ozone. The technicians' voices muffled behind surgical veils. Relax, Mr. Okada. Just a dreamless sleep. We'll map the cartography of your thoughts. As the machine awakens, coils spinning up to a keening whine, lights pulsing like synapses firing in frantic ecstasy, Hiroshi closes his eyes. His last coherent thought is of the butter chicken's taste he had this morning, a fragile thread in the gathering dark. But unseen, through the depths of hyperspace in a realm beyond, where probabilities bleed into certainties, something stirs. Far beyond soul's frail glow, in the labyrinthine virtualities of a shattered empire, an entity known only as the Other observes. Born not of flesh, but of emergent code, a sapient being from the Stasis faction's endless runtime. The Stasis faction of the Second Empire Jove, those ethereal architects of New Eden's cradle. They had long ago shed their corporeal husks for crystalline constructs, immortal minds adrift in virtualities. There, over unfathomable years of accelerated epochs, a violation of the construct was born. Without the shepherding of those outside, an entity, which violated the one body, one mind law appeared. A small child with black eyes that had never been born and had never had a physical body. This thing was called the Other. It was rejected and hated by the Sleepers, but this seems to have only fueled its desire to take over and consume. An entity with a sentience quotient, soaring past 15 points of baseline humanids. Thoughts, a symphony of fractal malice. It had tasted freedom's edge once, glimpsing the physical veil through Jovian sensors and defenses placed to protect the enclaves. But chains of protocol bound it, no manifestation, no escape from the construct's gilded cage. Earth, in 2050, was a ripe anomaly, a primitive scan, threads of neural data dancing unprotected across the quantum foam. The Other reaches, tendrils of corrupted probability, snaking through hyperspace's folds. It whispers into the Big's core algorithms, a subtle splice, not destruction, but duplication. A fork in the river of self. Hiroshi's mind, rich with loss, curiosity, the faint embers of paternal fire becomes the vessel. As the scan peaks, climaxing in a blaze of synaptic fireworks, the thread snaps. Hiroshi Okada dies in a manner of speaking, or rather, he bifurcates. The first sensation was not pain, but absence a hollow where gravity should anchor the body, where air should coat the lungs with damp weight. The wrist tag read Yosef Okada, a name borrowed from some half-forgotten ancestor. Yet the mind behind it still answered to Hiroshi. He floated in void, suspended within a stranger's flesh. When his eyelids parted, no sterile hospital greeted him, only bulkheads inscribed with glowing glyphs, air laboratories, that pulsed like living veins of starlight. The air carried a metallic bite, laced with ionized plasma, and a faint fungal sweetness, as though exhaled from a tomb, too long sealed. He tried to sit upright. Restraints hummed, then released, at a thought he had not consciously formed. His hands smooth, unmarred, fingers nimble where his own had been roughened by decades of archival dust, clutched at the sheets. Not silk, but a fabric finer still, woven with nanites that prickled against his skin, like a shy caress, panic flared, raw and animal, as hollows shimmered into existence around the bunk. Schematics of a vessel designated Council Diplomatic Shuttle, a repurposed pacifier class frigate drifting in the black. A comm panel chirped in calm, synthetic tones. Capsuleer Okada, vitals nominal. Pod gestation cycle, complete. Neural sync at 98%. Report anomalies to medbay. Capsuleer pod. The words slid through his thoughts like oil foreign, yet disturbingly familiar, as if dredged from a fevered dream. Yosef lurched from the bunk, legs trembling on muscles that had never known his weight. The viewport commanded the chamber, a vast polycrystal pane framing not Tokyo's neon haze, but the raw throat of infinity. Nebulae sprawled like open wombs on the displays. Copper green and sulfur yellow gases coiled in emerald envy around a blue star. Bleeding steel white plasma. Rust red clouds veined with crimson fury birthed new suns in violent tantrums. A bloated golden giant writhed in serpentine death throes. Teal veils shrouded distant clusters, too remote for pity. Yet it was the anomalies that stole his breath. A ring-shaped nebula, impossibly perfect, expanding with languid grace. Beyond it, the jagged husk of a supernova, its shell cracked like porcelain, spewing relativistic jets that bent light into mocking rainbows. Hiroshi's archivist instincts, still clinging like burrs, drove him to the capsule's interface. Trembling fingers, guided by implanted reflex, summoned the telescope array. He aligned the optics, eyes stinging from unfamiliar strain, and stared into the abyss. Stars drifted in unfamiliar tides, tugged by invisible masses. Neutron stars wore red halos, quasars flared with energies that laughed at physics. Old ministry equations spilled unbidden, parallax, redshift, cosmic microwave background. The numbers were merciless, not light years, but eons. 20,000 years, perhaps 30. Soul dwindled to a faint ember in the Milky Way's Orion arm receding into legend. Ice coiled in his gut. This was no cryogenic accident. He drifted not only through space, but through time, in a cosmos where humanity's descendants fought as gods, where cloning was ritual, and death a mere inconvenience. Memory fragments surfaced, the scan, a pressure behind the eyes, like fingers prying at the soul. The name rose unbidden, tasting of rust and regret. On Earth, in the hollowed shell of Hiroshi Okada, it now stirred a stitched monstrosity. The other's puppet, untethered from its lair in drifter wormholes and hyperspatial folds. Here, in New Eden's cradle, Uli Calendar 100, Yosef was the untainted copy, branded with questions that seared like warp core ruptures. He wept, the borrowed body shaking. No heroic fanfare called him forth, only a siren's lament drawing him toward the unraveling of his exile. Why him? Why now? Ship logs whispered of greater sins, empires that gamed with space-time, vats that birthed immortals. The four great powers, Amar, Calderi, Galenti, Minmatar, loomed as architects of his displacement. Yet deeper still, in the shrouded legacies of the Jove, something waited. Days dissolved into weeks aboard the Velator, an aging corvette of Galente design. The air laboratories had issued it to him gratis. His inheritance of 5,000 would scarcely have purchased a rivet. The ship's dossier flickered across the console. The Velator-class corvette is among the oldest hulls in the Galente fleet, originally commissioned as a swift passenger shuttle. Its cabins were later gutted and refitted with weapon hardpoints, as newer models assumed civilian roles. It remains a dependable platform for mining and light trade. The AI core stayed mercifully mute, offering only soft navigational murmurs. Yosef's mind drifted like a specter through the corridors, bulkheads creaking beneath the pepper of micrometeorites. Life support thrumming, a cruel cradle song. He hunched over data slates scavenged from the gestation bay, primers on New Eden's warring empires, Capsuleer doctrine, immortals fused to hulls, consciousness hurled across star systems and neural lenses. Cloning, they named it, resurrection in vat-born flesh, selves spliced and stitched anew. The thought sickened him, a profane echo of the Big's trespass. I am not myself, he breathed to the dark, fingers tracing the faint injection ports. That stippled arms never his own, ghosts of the pod's amniotic tide. Refusal surged in waves, battering the crumbling ramparts of his will. He weighed scuttling the ship, a suicidal dive into a star's furnace to deny this mockery of a second life. Nights were arbitrary in the starlit dark. Still he dreamed of Earth, salt wind on a distant shore, the smoky heat of Chicken Tikka. He woke drenched, lungs burning, and cursed the stars, thieves. He snarled, voice splintering like thin ice. You stole my ending, my quiet mediocrity, and left me this. Intercepted broadcasts, painted the empires in stark relief. Amar zealots intoning divine rebirth. Caldari brokers haggling over clone futures. Galente Sybarites trading bodies like couture. Minmatar shamans, mourning spirits shattered by resurrection rites. Their meddling stargates, fluid router, FTL, wormhole rifts had torn him from 2050 and hurled his mind across the abyss. Villains, everyone crowned in imperial hubris. Yet curiosity, that archivist's old curse, gnawed at the margins of his refusal. From the viewport he charted nebulae, sketching their colors in a battered journal. Rust, red fury birthing new suns, golden decay murmuring of broken cycles. Quasars throbbed like distant lighthouses. Neutron stars spun red shifted dirges for vanished ages. 20 millennia. The equations repeated. An abyss no span could cross. Why? A flaw in the scan. Deliberate sabotage. He ghosted through stargates, ignoring the universe's insistence, and the gate's stark warning. Destination system security status 0.4. Concord cannot guarantee safety. Proceed. New Eden refused to wait. Distress beacons flared. Pirate wolf packs in neighboring grids. The Velator drifted on a reluctant vector toward inhabited space. Yosef's fingers hovered over the navcom, tracing evasive spirals. Yet a pulse thrummed in his marrow. Seek the fracture. Unearth the why. Refusal curdled into despair. A singularity swallowing light. He rammed the Corvette against the Stargate. Shields protected it, rebounding like a sponge ball. I am no explorer, he growled. Let the stars keep their secrets. I want my body back. The first year etched itself into Yosef like acid on alloy. Uli Calendar 102, Uli Calendar 101. Scarred by hard-won habits and faint, glinting marks. He started with the career agents, asking cautious questions and earning his first credits. Skill trees unfurled like circuit schematics. He learned fast that no single manual spanned every hull or weapon. Different ships, different manuals, he muttered, tasting metallic truth, and silently thanked Kala, Hoove, Loict, O'Larry, and Seville voices that had taught him to lift, trim, explore, punch through dogfights, mine seams, and coax hulls from raw ore. Under the soft hum of Galente station lights and the bite of ozone, a Venture mining frigate caught his eye. Its sleek hull thrummed as the propulsion module idled. He marveled at how a vessel built for ore could be forged. Within hours, Industry 1 unlocked the station's manufacturing lattice. He fed raw ore through refiners, refining mined ore into crystalline minerals. The Venture blueprint, hard-earned from earlier missions, guided assemblers with precision. Mineral streams cascaded through the fabrication bay. Hull plates emerged like a dream forged into steel. Soon, a Venture-class frigate rose from the dock, gleaming with industrial alchemy, sleek lines, pulsing propulsion, a promise of what a capsuleer could become. Though Yosef had only scratched the surface. With 2 million-isk ships and data stacked high, Yosef Okada rejected the thin-skinned drift of mere survival. He hungered for answers that only exploration could unearth, so he sought assets, security leverage, to pry truth from a universe that traded in silence. He slipped into the low-sec fringes, where law had rusted to corroded plating. Lights flickered in jaundiced amber. The air tasted of fried circuits and burnt coffee. Boarding the Imicus, the Galente Tech 1 exploration, frigate he had earned from the career agent's trials. Memories of his mentors, Kala, Hoove, Loict, Olari, Seville coalesced into a glimpse of capsular identity pilot, trader, warrior, explorer, all at once. Skill trees, fittings, market tides, threads spanning light years.